Hello, beautiful people. Wow, the winds are fierce tonight. Raise your hand if you woke up to some rain. Yes, yes. All right. Well, today, as promised, I was trying to come on here in the morning, but it was a little sleepy time, if you know what I mean. Um, we are going to read the book of Joel, and I just want to show you real quick, you guys. You know, this is my Bible. Okay, this is what it's come to. All right, years of referencing and writing and such. This is what's left. Okay, the whole book of Revelations is gone. We leave off at 1 John, but we'll have to do some research and replacing. But yeah, you guys, this is how far we've gone together. It's hard with the reflection. This is how much we've done so far. This is how much is left, plus or minus a few pages, right? So I'm very proud of us. We really made so much great progress. And again, if you're late and just joining in, everything is archived under YouTube. You won't be able to find them on Facebook, but YouTube is the spot. So as promised, you guys, I am going to read the full book of Joel. And again, this is just a place of peace. This is a place of relaxation. This is a place of just really meditating on the word and hearing exactly what God wants us to hear just through passive listening, right? You can active listen if you want. You can paint pictures in your mind. Try to take yourself on a journey, or let the Lord take you on a journey so you can discover whatever you need to discover in this word. It's a very short book, just about 2.5 pages, front and back, and a quarter. So we'll go ahead and get started. I won't be leaving the whole transcription in the comments or on the sidebar. It will just be the 7, 17, 27, so forth, how we've been doing. All right, so let us go ahead and begin. Thank you for joining me. This is Joel, or Joel. And one thing that I did not do is look up the time frame at which this is set, because it doesn't say, but we're going to go ahead and pick up our context clues as we read. And again, just take yourselves on a journey. This is the word of the Lord that came to Joel, son of Pethuel. Okay, sorry. Son of Pethuel. Hear this, you elders. Listen, all who live in the land. Has anything like this ever happened in your days, or in the days of your ancestors? Tell it to your children, and let your children tell it to their children, and their generation to the next generation. What the locust swarm has left, the great locusts have eaten. What the great locusts have left, the young locusts have eaten. What the young locusts have left, other locusts have eaten. Wake up, you drunkards, and weep. Wail, all you drinkers of wine. Wail because of the new wine, for it has been snatched from your lips. A nation has invaded my land, a mighty army without number. It has teeth of a lion and the fangs of a lioness. It has laid waste my vines and ruined my fig trees. It has stripped off their bark and thrown it away, leaving their branches white. Mourn like a virgin in sackcloth, grieving for her betrothed of her youth, for the betrothed of her youth. Grain offerings and drink offerings are cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests are in mourning, those who minister before the Lord. The fields are ruined, the ground is dried up, the grain is destroyed, the new wine is dried up, the olive oil fails. Despair, you farmers, wail, you vine growers, grieve for the wheat and the barley, because the harvest of the field is destroyed. The vine is dried up, and the fig tree is withered. The pomegranate, the palm, and the apple tree, all the trees of the field are dried up. Surely the people's joy is withered away. So put on sackcloth, you priests, and mourn, wail, you who minister before the altar. Come spend the night in sackcloth, you who minister before my God. For grain offerings and drink offerings are withheld from the house of your God. Declare a holy fast, call a sacred assembly, summon the elders and all who live in the land to the house of the Lord God. and cry out to the Lord. Alas for that day, for the day of the Lord is near. It will come like a destruction from the Almighty. Has not the food been cut off before your very eyes? Joy and gladness from the house of our God? The seeds are shriveled beneath the clods. The storehouses are in ruins. The granaries have been broken down, for the grain has dried up. How the cattle moan! The herds mill about because they have no pasture. Even the flocks of sheep are suffering. To you, Lord, I call. For fire has devoured the pastures in the wilderness, and the flames have burned up all the trees in the field. Even the wild animals pant for you. The streams of water have dried up, and the fire has devoured the pastures in the wilderness. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm on my holy hill. Let all who live in the land tremble, for the day of the Lord is coming. It is close at hand. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness. Like dawn spreading across the mountains, a large and mighty army comes, such as never was in ancient times, nor ever will be in ages to come. Before them fire devours, behind them a flame blazes. Before them the land is like the Garden of Eden, behind them a desert waste. Nothing escapes them. They have the appearance of horses. They gallop along like cavalry, with a noise like that of chariots. They leap over the mountain tops like a crackling fire consuming stubble, like a mighty army drawn up for battle. At the sight of them, nations are in anguish. Every face turns pale. They charge like warriors. They scale the wall like soldiers. They all march in line, not swerving from their course. They do not jostle each other. Each marches straight ahead. They plunge through defenses without breaking ranks. They rush upon the city. They run along the wall. They climb into houses. Like thieves, they enter through the windows. Before them, the earth shakes, the heavens tremble, the sun and the moon are darkened, and the stars no longer shine. The Lord thunders at the head of his army. His forces are beyond number, and mighty is the army that obeys his command. The day of the Lord is great. It is dreadful. Who can endure it? Even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping and mourning. Rend your heart and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in love, and he relents from sending calamity. Who knows? He may turn and relent and leave behind a blessing, grain offerings and drink offerings for the Lord your God. Blow the trumpet in Zion, declare a holy fast, call a sacred assembly, gather the people, consecrate the assembly, bring together the elders, gather the children, those nursing at the breast. Let the bridegroom leave his room and the bride her chamber. Let the priests who minister before the Lord weep between the portico and the altar. Let them say, spare your people, Lord. Do not make your inheritance an object of scorn, a byword among the nations. Why should they say among the peoples, where is their God? Then the Lord was jealous for his land, and he took pity on his people. The Lord replied to them, I am sending you new grain, new wine, and olive oil, enough to satisfy you fully. Never again will I make you an object of scorn to the nations. I will drive the northern horde far from you, pushing it into a parched and barren land. Its eastern ranks will drown in the Dead Sea, and its western ranks in the Mediterranean Sea. And its stench will go up, its smell will rise. Surely he has done great things. Do not be afraid, land of Judah. Be glad and rejoice. Surely the Lord has done great things. Do not be afraid, you wild animals, for the pastures in their wilderness are becoming green. The trees are bearing their fruit. The fig tree and the vine yield their riches. Be glad, people of Zion. Rejoice in the Lord your God, for he has given you the autumn rains because he is faithful. He sends you abundant showers, both autumn and spring rains as before. The threshing floors will be filled with grain. The vats will overflow with new wine and oil. I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten, the great locust and the young locust, and the other locusts, and the locust swarm, my great army that I sent among you. You will have plenty to eat until you are full, and you will praise the name of your Lord God, who has worked wonders for you. Never again will my people be shamed. Then you will know that I am in Israel, that I am the Lord your God, and that there is no other. Never again will my people be shamed. And afterward I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days. I will show the wonders in heaven and on earth, blood and fire and billows of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. For on Mount Zion in Jerusalem there will be deliverance, as the Lord has said, even among the survivors, whom the Lord calls. In those days, almost done. In those days, at that time, when I restore Judah, the fortresses, Xenotrans had to break out first. Let's go back. I'm sorry. In those days, at that time, when I restore the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all the nations. I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. There I will put them on trial for what they did to my inheritance. My people Israel, because they have scattered, my people among the nations and divided up my land. They cast lots for my people. They traded boys for prostitutes. They sold girls for wine to drink. Now what have you against me, Tyre and Sidon, and all you regions of Philistia? Are you repaying me for something I have done? If you are paying me back, I will swiftly and speedily return it on your own heads for what you have done. For you took my silver and my gold and carried off my finest treasures to your temples. You sold the people of Judah and Jerusalem to the Greeks, that you may send them far from their homeland. See, I am going to rouse them out of the places to which you sold them. I will return to on your own heads what you have done. I will sell your sons and your daughters to the people of Judah, and they will sell them to the Sabians, a nation far away. The Lord has spoken. Proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for war, rouse the warriors. Let all the fighting men draw near and attack. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weaklings say, I am strong. Come quickly, all you nations from every side. Assemble there. Bring down your warriors, Lord. Let the nations be roused. Let them advance into the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there I will sit to judge all the nations on every side. Swing the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, trample the grapes, for the winepress is full and the vats overflow. So great is their wickedness. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and moon will be darkened, and the stars no longer shine. The Lord will roar from Zion, and thunder from Jerusalem. The earth and the heavens will tremble, but the Lord will be a refuge for his people, a stronghold for the people of Israel. Then you will know that I, the Lord your God, dwell in Zion, my holy hill. Jerusalem will be holy, never again will foreigners invade her. In that day, mountains will drip new wine, and the hills will flow with milk. All the ravines of Judah will run with water. A fountain will flow out of the Lord's house and will water the valley of Acacias. But Egypt will be desolate, Edom a desert waste, because of violence done to the people of Judah, in whose land they shed innocent blood. Judah will be inhabited forever, and Jerusalem through all generations. Shall I leave their innocent blood unavenged? No, I will not. The Lord dwells in Zion. Okay. We have completed. That is Joel, And that is what we have. So what a journey that we took going through that book. We start reminiscing, right, on the invasion of the locusts. We have the lamentation, the crying, right? We have foretelling, right? Foretelling the day of the Lord, which we had talked about yesterday. And we see this vision of what will be after the day of the Lord, right? So what a journey. I'm just going to give you the 7 verses. It has laid waste my vines and ruined my fig trees. It has stripped off their bark and thrown it away, leaving their branches white. The seeds are shriveled beneath the clods. The storehouses are in ruins. The granaries have been broken down, for the grain has dried up. They charge like warriors. They scale the walls like soldiers. They march in line, not swerving from their course. Let the priests who minister before the Lord weep before the portico and the altar, between the portico and the altar. Then you will know that I am in Israel, that I am the Lord your God, and that there is no other. Never again will my people be shamed. See, I am going to rouse them out of the places to which you sold them. I will return on your own heads what you have done. Then you will know that I, the Lord your God, dwell in Zion, my holy hill. Jerusalem will be holy. Never again would foreigners invade her. So this is a reflection of what was said. I don't have a lot to say because really everything that needed to be said and needs to be said is in this book. And it is written word for word. And I do like to add my flowery remarks to these words, but really everything was said. By reading the whole book, you see when we do these shorter books, how complete the picture is, and the perspective is different. It should be different for everybody. Oh, I have a little friend here. It should be different for everybody. So maybe let's just take a moment and reflect and think if anything else is coming through. This verse stuck out. A lot of verses stuck out, and I hope you have your own verses that stick out to you as well. Okay, we're actually just going to let it be just the way it is. And this wind, I don't know if you can hear it, but the wind is very powerful. So as we continue through this journey, right, of the Bible, remember our active waiting. Okay, patience is an extreme virtue, and it's very, very, very important. If you have not mastered it, now is the time. All right, now is the time. We're in active waiting, and we are simply being as, because we can't, I want to say there's no such thing as peace, but there is such thing as peace. There is such thing as peace, and it can be obtained. But you see how sometimes we're not necessarily called to peace. We're called to a little bit of chaos from time to time. We truly are. We're called to emote. We're called to wail. Yeah, you just want to see your friends. See your friends. Oh, we're called to wail. We're called to cry sometimes. He usually likes to cry. He loves to cry. You love to cry. So we love to, sorry, I love to kitty. we love to emote and wail, or excuse me, we should. Sometimes we're called to. He loves to emote and wail. We are called to emote and wail, and it's hard because one of the main things that did stick out to me a lot was like the dryness, the dryness and the deserty nature of where we are. And like this is, I mean, where I'm not in a literal dry and desert nature, but it's just like the times almost feel like a little bit dry. Like we should be weeping, we should be mourning, we should be wailing, we should be crying, but it's very quiet and subdued. Our emotions and our nature, I feel like it's very subdued. And I may just be speaking for me. And yes, I cry. I've cried. I can get emotional, but it was nothing like, going through my adolescence and crying more often maybe than I needed to. But it does feel like we're very dried up. So there is a call to chaos. And I say that very lightly. You know what I mean when I say chaos, right? Hopefully emotion, right? There's the call to emote, to cry, to wail, to release, right? It's very important for us to let go of whatever has been keeping us in bondage, right? That metaphysical bondage that we see so frequently, or we experience so frequently, but we don't see. We can't comprehend what it is, but it's this bondage, right? And in order to break off the bondage, we must emote and we must release. It's easier said than done because I'm having a hard time myself. But there's a time for everything. There's a time for everything. And how do we get to that point? It's hard to say because so much is going on, but it's hard to sit here in a comfortable position in a lit space, right? Then I'm not speaking anything other than that. I don't want or will anything other than that to be the case, right? But even when the electricity turns off, right, or the water turns off, even then, like, my tears are dry for the most part. I don't think I've gotten too up in arms in situations like those. Even then, right? But it's hard to say. It's hard to say. And then we do know the wailing, is very is how do I put this? We do know the emotion where it's needed, right? And even then, the tears are dry. All right, the aqueducts are dry. We almost have no room for tears. And then we move through, right? We move through the sadness, the unwillingness to release and let go and emote. We move through that into this joy, but it's not really joy either. It's just more so maybe like a mild excitement nowadays, right? And maybe the emotion's not so much sadness. Maybe it's just anger. Maybe that's what the dryness is. Maybe it's a lot of fury and anger, right? And then we move into this excitement that's just, maybe a little bit melodramatic, but this excitement, right, that we're supposed to have and we're supposed to be looking for and trying to experience as much as we can, as much as our bodies and our wallets allow, right? And even then, sometimes it can just be very, just dry. Is a good word. I will say that how many times? Give me $1 for every time. And then we move into this place of warlike nature again, like we are getting ready for battle confidently, because remember, who is our breastplate, right? We have our breastplate well installed at this point. We're moving confidently into battle, right? Even then, we should stay in our comfortable positions as we go into battle, right? This is not a physical war that we're discussing here. I mean, maybe in that time, yes, but it's not a physical war. This is a spiritual and a mental battle that we're experiencing and will experience, continue to experience for quite some time. And I think that's why the emotions are so hard, because we're not pushing our bodies to a physical exhaustion like we may be used to. We don't have so much of that anymore. I think if our bodies, not so much our minds, but our bodies were pushed towards a physical exhaustion, that's when we really start to have those bodily reactions, right? But it's hard to say, right? Because I've been, as active as I've been, you know, maybe I was a little bit more tearful. It's hard to remember or say. Okay, I've only been talking for 25 minutes. Sometimes this just feels like I feel like I've been talking for like an hour. You hear my prayer alarm go off. So I will get to prayer. And this wind, like, I don't know, can you guys hear that? I'm leaving the windows open because it is that excitement that I was talking about. Like, that's thrilling to me. That's the thrill that I seek. Goodness gracious. And then we aren't even gonna, we glossed over in our lamentation, right? We glossed over the blessing, right? The blessing. And I'll leave that to discuss further, because we have times where we will love to discuss the blessing, and I'm sure there are many more times where we will discuss blessing and hope, because it's coming. And that's the beautiful thing. It's like sometimes we don't want to get too invested into the emotions of today, because we know this blessing is coming, and that's what we're really, just, we feel like we need to hold back and just like save everything, save every part of ourselves for that moment. But yes, and this is, I think, blessings for God's people. Okay, so we're preparing, right? We're preparing ourselves mentally. We're trying hard to seek that compassion. I think that's something that we're all working on, is that sense of compassion, and not such a stoic, I think that's the word I was looking for, a stoic perception and outlook and view. Maybe by moving our bodies just a little bit more. This is like, I'm talking really for myself, you guys, because it's like, when I tell you I've been sitting for 8 hours, I'm not lying, right? I'm not telling you that's not the case. That is 100% the case. I've been sitting for 8 hours. So maybe even just moving the body, letting things flow, right? Preparing ourselves for that mental battle. But we also, in order for this to be good, we need our muscles to be good as well, right? We need our mobility and our agility to be on point, really just to let things move throughout the body, right? Let these things flow through us, right? Self-care, it's all in the name of self-care, and really just move through. Because I think, by not, and this is probably the last thing I'm going to say, by not emoting, right? That's a little bit dangerous. And I don't want to say it's, because it's not really a skill to have everything internalized, right? We think sometimes it's a skill to be just like passive and not receptive to whatever is going on. But we don't know what's happening on the back end of our subconscious, some way, somehow, somewhere, that subconscious can take effect in ways that we don't realize. And it takes effect on the way that we treat people, right? So we have to just be aware of that. The more we internalize and we're not releasing uh, the emotion, right? And that's kind of the opposite of like with the Buddhist, from my understanding, because the Buddhist understanding is to, it's more so not to indulge, right? Not to indulge. And if we don't indulge, then we cannot attach ourselves to the suffering. They're not necessarily saying to just be detached from the suffering. They're saying if you're not being overindulgent, you will actually just not feel as much as the suffering, and that's okay, because you're not feeling it, you're also not absorbing it, right? And that's okay. But if you're absorbing a lot and you're working on the indulgence and doing a lot of indulging, that's where it can get a little bit dangerous, right? And that's where we internalize a lot more. So we have to just release it, move to release, move to release. It's not like we're begging for detachment. It's just detachment is what comes by not overindulging. Okay, so I got that clear. And so, on that note, I read this multiple times and it did pop out a few times to me. Fast. I know this seems unhealthy sometimes. Like if you feel hungry, eat. Okay, if you feel like you want to eat, eat. But sometimes when we are in these spaces, right, we do just, like, where's the meal, right? Where's the meal? I'm actually not hungry. I don't feel like cooking. That's fine. That's okay. You can fast and your body will survive. Okay, we have fat stores, even myself. Okay, we have things to survive off of. We're not going to waste away. It's okay to go ahead and fast. So if you're being called to, if it feels natural for you, don't stress about it. Don't put yourself in this place of, oh, I'm lacking, it's okay. Just you can go without for just a bit. And then when you feel hungry, definitely eat. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Don't deprive yourself when you feel hungry. Definitely eat if you feel hungry. But it's been called a few times in here to fast, to help not internalize the suffering that's going on, correct? So that's if you feel called, okay? And this is not a prescription for everybody. So please take my words with grace and care. And I will leave you with this. I'm going to pray. And like, as I'm thinking about food, I'm thinking a banana sounds great, right? A banana sounds great. And maybe some fruit sounds nice. And what else? What else do I have? Oh, I have some chicken salad. Oh my God. Some chicken salad. I made this chicken salad the other day with grapes. It's so good. And I still have quite a bit left. So on some toast, that is my jam. All right. I will catch you guys later. I'm going to enjoy my chicken salad. And God bless you. I love you. I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for sticking through this long read. If you're still here, God bless you. If you're still here, go get yourself a snack. You deserve it. All right. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.